Hello there. There is only one way to stop the continual political sleaze. Be in no doubt, now that the blob has ejected Boris Johnson from the political scene, well, at least for now, we will see more and more of these stories coming to light of other politicians and officials breaking the rules, to the point that everyone gets totally bored with it and doesn't grumble when no action is taken. And all they show is a Westminster blob that is A, totally devoid of any sense of public service, is B, arrogant, and C, was completely unafraid of the very risk they were locking us in our homes for. We were basically their lab rats. This video that the Mirror got hold of will anger many people. But with the 3-year time limit on prosecuting some of those pandemic crimes coming up in December, will the police bother to do so? Or will they be quietly encouraged to concentrate elsewhere? We may now be at the point where most people just shrug about these crimes and say, time to move on. And the blob will be very pleased to hear that, because they used those laws to ditch Boris, so it's job done, and now time to move on to the next target. However, how long has that video been held by the Mirror or other people? And with by-elections approaching? Neat timing, eh? And no amount of guff from Michael Gove, like he subjected us to on GB News this morning, is going to save any of those by-election seats for the Tories. They've blown it. Their MPs have been shown to be shallow, and their staff and advisers have been shown to be shallow and callow. And how long has this Bernard Jenkins birthday party attendance been known to the press? Funny how it landed straight after Boris had resigned. What would have happened had it come out a month ago? Would Jenkins have been forced off of the Privileges Committee and have had to be investigated himself? And now that Boris has been ejected, will the rules be changed again, this time to allow for mistakes, maybe? And Jenkins still seems to be hanging on, despite the Mail showing evidence that there was a birthday party for his wife, allegedly with cake and drinks, on the Westminster estate at a time when such gatherings were illegal. The gathering Sir Bernard attended was in Deputy Speaker Dame Eleanor Lang's office on December the 8th, 2020, when indoor socialising was banned in England. In her invitation, Baroness Jenkins offered birthday drinks for a few of our favourite people next Wednesday the 8th, 6:30 to 7:30 in Eleanor Lang's conference room in the Commons, says the Mail report. And it goes on to claim that 10 people were there in a very small room, and that group would include 3 politicians, Tory MP Bernard Jenkins, and Eleanor Lang, who's an independent because she's the Deputy Speaker, and Baroness Jenkins in the House of Lords. Should they all be forced to stand down? Or will they be protected because at least one of them got the right decision? The right result to start the reversal of Brexit, maybe? And then we see that the civil servant Sue Gray, that headed the Partygate inquiry that damned Boris Johnson, has herself been caught out. She was the person in charge of government propriety and ethics. Miss Propriety, if you will. But a Cabinet Office inquiry has reportedly found that she broke the impartiality rules to the point that had she not already resigned, she could have been sacked. According to the Telegraph that has seen this report, Sue Gray fell short of the Civil Service Code and her civil service contract as well. And this was about her moving to a new position working for the leader of the opposition, Keir Starmer. And Gray claims innocence, and Starmer says he's confident she didn't breach the rules. Well, this report seems to say otherwise. Seems she's now Miss Impropriety. And given that those who worked with her thought her a stickler for the rules, it shows what people really are capable of. Is it a case of do unto others but don't get caught yourself? Or a case of if you are going to get caught, make sure you have a safety net first? Now, a lot of people will say that we need to forget all this and move on. But why? You can bet your bottom dollar that this is the tip of the iceberg, that all this lying and self-serving goes on every day in every corner of the blob. And none of it serves the country or us in any way at all. It seems expressly designed to ensure it doesn't benefit any of us, the ordinary people. The very fact that the country manages to operate in any normal way is despite the efforts of these charlatans to visit ruination on the rest of us. All pretence of civil service impartiality has now been swept away. The idea that MPs work for us has now been shown to be a sham. The idea that paying taxes will benefit us has also been shown up as a lie. The whole of the UK establishment is now enthralled to the likes of the WEF and the UN, and all those other people and entities whose policies are agreed internationally, so we never get to vote on them. And we are to be milked for all we've got in the service of this new system, a new system of population movement to us, while control, energy, cash and food is moved away from us. How is it that people like Klaus Schwab, Bill Gates and now Jonathan Soros can have so much clout over how we live our lives? How come they have more say about what happens to us than we do? They, together with the WEF and the UN, are dictating the general policies that the UK government, like most around the world, just agree to at an international level by treaty without our permission, and then change UK law to enact it, on the basis that they can't break international law. The whole Westminster and Whitehall estate has always been a bit of a snake pit, but it now seems to be breaking all records. The system seems to attract and encourage lying, self-serving, arrogant anti-UK cheaters. And most of them don't care whether you know it or not, because they know the uniparty, so-called two-party state system will protect them, as long as they toe whatever line they are meant to toe at the time. And at the moment, the flavour of the month is selling the UK off by the pound as long as they get a cut, while turning our country into a play park for the rest of the world, all at taxpayer expense. The job of these people we elect and those whose salary we pay is to protect us and do all they can to improve our lives. At the moment, I see no point to any of them, nor the point of this whole political system. We, the electorate, get lied to once every 4 or 5 years, then the politicians go off and do their own thing, and only pay scant regard to us when the next general election comes up. We must not allow this to continue, and voting for any of the main political parties will only encourage them to make things even worse for us. There's only one way to stop them: vote for someone else.